if we're stuck in this body in such pain and such experiences that we really sometimes can't even put into words, it would be nice to escape sometimes. I know that I'm not the only person that feels this way, that kind of feels like, if only I could just have a break from this body. If I'm going to have to deal with this, if I'm going to experience this, sometimes it's just like, no, not today. I don't feel like it. I don't want it. I don't like it. And I need a break. And so doing yoga is a way to just put that physical body feeling away aside for even just a few moments, to kind of come into ourselves, to connect, and give ourselves gratitude really for putting up with all this, really for pushing through when people don't know how hard we're pushing through, really for not losing our minds, really for continuing to try to get better, even though many things fail and flares keep coming up and doctors will gaslight you and you feel FOMO for missing out on things.
Have you tried yoga? Maybe you should see a psychologist. Are you stressed? Change your diet. Acupuncture. Try stretching. Sleep. You've been doing so well. Stop stressing. Anxiety.
Functionality. Welcome back to the Functionality Podcast. I'm your host, Tausha. How are y'all functioning? The tea of the day is Haze Tea by the Black Leaf Tea and Culture Shop, as usual. It has fruity flavor with a beautiful sapphire blue color. Add lemon juice and watch it change from blue to purple. If you guys could see the deep blue that this tea is, it is so cool to see. And the changing of colors is awesome. But I feel that it is perfect to go with today's topic because the haze kind of means relaxation. And today we're talking, what's the tea on FND and yoga? And what else does yoga do? It absolutely relaxes you. So that's why these two go hand in hand. So what is the tea on FND and yoga? Well, first of all, I would just want to say, Mom, I love you. All credit goes to you for the start of this yoga journey, because you've been telling me about yoga for years and years and years and years. And you used to go to yoga every Monday night. I remember it like clockwork. And I'd just be at my house. But it took me even if it took me about 12 years to listen to you, I'm listening to you and you were right. So yoga is fantastic, and I see now why you used to do it. I quickly want to note that my brother and I were chatting, and have I mentioned him? Maybe this is the first time. Anyway, well, I have a brother. He's just the best brother. So that's what I'm going to call him. He's my best brother. So my best brother, he's my only brother, but he's the best one I could ever have. But him and I were talking, and he was talking about the last episode and how I was saying, I don't know anybody who's done acupuncture. And he was like, I've literally done it. You forgot I did acupuncture? And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? So he's also done yoga. He has done yoga at home and some hot yoga sessions, which I've never done hot yoga, but I think it sounds pretty cool. And then there's several people from my hometown who are pretty big into yoga. And so I've been following them and watching them for a while. And then, of course, social media. It's all over social media because yoga, when I was doing some research and looking things up, I saw something that said yoga is one of the biggest achievements of globalization. So it's literally everywhere, which is great. It's a great thing. I mean, it's been around for over 5,000 years, and it originated in India and made its way everywhere, really, which is really, really cool. And of course, anything that comes out as it transfers and as it goes different places, it's going to change the styles and how people choose to practice it and things like that. So there are over more than 100 styles of yoga. I don't know all of them. I am not a yogini. That's a new word I learned because that's the female yogi. I am not a yogini, but I am willing to learn. I am interested in it. Just like I said about acupuncture, like I'm the type of person that I would like to learn almost anything there is to learn. So I would like to learn and know this even better especially because I saw results from it. So what does the word yoga mean? I'm going to tell you at the end of the episode. So make sure you stick around to make sure that you have the right answer. But anyway, yoga is a form of healing. it absolutely is a form of healing. It is a science, and it is proven. It can work every muscle in your body, and it actually pits them against each other in a good way, not a bad way. And so with that increased stress on your bones, it actually will increase the thickness of your bones. It'll cause your bones to thicken. So I'm like, that was like one of the coolest things that I discovered when looking at like, what does yoga really do? It boosts your immune system. It aims to help you control and still your mind. And those are just like a couple of the things. If I was here trying to tell all the benefits, just like all the benefits of acupuncture, I would be here all day. But how does it really do this? Well, it increases your neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is the ability of your nervous system to like change itself, reroute itself, form new loops, form new pathways, and to continue to change and not be stuck. It's like plastic, so it can move and it can mold to different things and different experiences and different types of exposure that you expose it to. So doing yoga actually increases your nervous system's ability to do that. And if you are suffering from symptoms of functional neurological disorder, well, what do we need to do? We need to retrain our brain. And so wouldn't it be great if you have a little extra kickstart, an extra boost to help make sure that you have the best chances of being able to do that? Yoga can do that for us. So there's actually some confusion as to whether yoga is a science or is it a religion. Some people are like, I don't know about yoga. The people that do it are pretty diehard with it, but it's only really because it works. But it is a way of getting in touch with your consciousness. So then that kind of crosses over into the spirituality realm. And so then I can understand why people are a little bit hesitant or need to know more about it. I'm sure everybody who listens to this knows about yoga. I'm not saying anything new, but just relating it to why it could be beneficial or why it was beneficial for me when it comes to symptoms of functional neurological disorder. So it is a way to release the physical body casing for just a moment, for just a few moments, and see ourselves for who and what we truly are. So if we are stuck in this body, which I'm a firm believer that we are just a soul inside of a physical body casing. If you don't believe that, my apologies, or that's okay that we have different opinions. I hope that you respect mine because I respect yours. But it is, if we are stuck in this body in such pain and such experiences that we really sometimes can't even put into words, it would be nice to escape sometimes. I know that I'm not the only person that feels this way, that kind of feels like, if only I could just have a break from this body. If I'm going to have to deal with this, if I'm going to experience this, sometimes it's just like, no, not today. I don't feel like it. I don't want it. I don't like it. And I need a break. And so doing yoga is a way to just put that physical body feeling away aside for even just a few moments, to kind of come into ourselves, to connect and give ourselves gratitude really for putting up with all this, really for pushing through when people don't know how hard we're pushing through, really for not losing our minds, really for continuing to try to get better, even though many things fail and flares keep coming up and doctors will gaslight you and you feel FOMO for missing out on things.
And that's the tough part of this.
But we keep doing it. And so we should give ourselves that gratitude and understand that we are not these physical bodies. We are conductors of this whole living being. We're in charge of this. And that is, I keep saying this, that it is one of the biggest things that I have discovered is being able to know confidently that I'm conducting this living being. Even though there are things that I can't control, at the end of the day, I can get everything to move in a conducted way if I want it bad enough, if I try hard enough, and if I am in enough alignment with myself. So our eyes are so used to looking outward that we forget to look inward until our body actually attempts to, and probably succeeds at, getting our attention. It will bring your attention to the places in which you are struggling inwardly. It will bring your attention to the places in which you are neglecting inwardly. And so I'm so guilty. I'm absolutely guilty. And sometimes I'm like, FND, okay, makes sense. Because I do swallow my stress. I do just push it down and push it down and push it down and let it pile on and let things add up. And then eventually, where does it go? I never blow up. I'm not one of those people. I can't even remember the last time I really like blew up. I mean, like, I have little fusses at Mommy Junior, but like I've never like, or in a long time, I haven't like blown up. I don't break things. I don't throw things. I don't scream. I don't do all that. So where does all that stress go? Where does all that energy and emotion go? So it's inward. And so my body's like, hey, yup, you're a jerk. So this is going to hurt. Once we are able to give our body that attention that it deserves, maybe through yoga, it's that positive attention and going and being still, that stillness. Sometimes we are just not still. Even when we go to bed, we're just like, okay, I'm awake, I'm laying down, now I'm asleep. Stillness, but still awake. It's different. It's really different to try to be able to still your world when the rest of the world is moving around you. How do you do it? But if you get in the practice of it, I can see and I can attest to the fact that if you do choose to practice yoga, you actually have to do more than just the asanas, which are the poses. Look at me with all my yoga lingo. But you have to do more than just the asanas, because doing those is good, but it leaves out like 90% of the purpose of yoga, which I just was talking about. It's the inner self connection. If you're just going into it with the physical ideal, if you're just going into it with the fact that, or the idea that it is only going to impact your physical body, then you're going to miss some parts of it. And then maybe that's why if you've tried it, it hasn't worked before, or it didn't really stick with you, because it's just a vehicle. It's a gateway inward. It is constructed, designed science to allow you to go into yourself. Yoga / meditation, it goes hand in hand. You really have to do both. You really have to do both. So yes, it does work your muscles, and I can feel it. I'm actually sore the next day, but I go into it with more than just that. I want the physical benefits, but more than that, I want the internal benefits as well. I want the mental benefits. I want the benefits to my chi. I want the benefits to my energy inwardly. And so it gives you the opportunity to release chronic muscle tension, release stress, release negative energy. You literally can just leave it right there on the mat. It will give you an opportunity to restore your natural breathing, your diaphragmatic breathing, because I think a lot of the time we don't even realize how shallow we breathe. We don't even realize how battered or how labored our breathing can be and how interrupted our breathing can be. But doing all of this also increased oxygen absorption. So I mean, like, really focusing on, hey, this is what does my body needs? My body needs that inward and that outward, that inhale and exhale. How often do we slow down and say inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale? No, we're worried about trying to get to school and work and our friend's social event and this baby shower and this Zoom call and this new thing and this new shop. And we're trying to do everything so fast that we miss the stillness. And so we're tense and stressed and we're always moving. But if we can relax, you'll catch yourself furrowing your brow, clenching your jaw and your teeth, holding your hands in a fist, shrugged up in your shoulders. All these things are signs of tension, and they actually relax when you're in flow. After 15 minutes, really 15 minute yoga practice, a 15-minute session, you will realize like, oh, wow, that really relaxed some of those muscles I didn't even know were tight like that. And look at the connection of these themes here between acupuncture and yoga, because I just said you can relax all these things when you're in flow, which goes back to your chi, because it needs to be in complete flow. So maybe yoga helps your chi continue to flow as well. I don't know anything, but it would make sense. I mean, living literally comes down to your proper energetic flow. Literally and figuratively, I'm all about the energy. I'm all about the energy these days, because that's what it's all about. Everything is all about the energy. Yoga helps to move your consciousness beyond the process of thought. So a lot of times I get caught up in just thinking about how I wish things were different, thinking about how this might hurt, thinking about what I have to do next and what I might not have enough spoons to do, and just all of the thought. But if you move beyond the process of thought and into the thought of I am a flow of energy, energy is what it's all about. Even when not doing yoga, you can try to be in that relaxed state of mind or as close as you can get to it by asking yourself important questions throughout the day. Am I flowing with my energy or against it? Am I fostering negative energy? Do I welcome positive energy? Am I breathing deeply enough? Am I inhaling and exhaling to allow the most oxygen to pass through my body? Is my heart beating too fast? Is my mind currently racing? Am I overwhelmed? Am I triggered? And then when you get the answers to certain things, you don't have to ask yourself all those questions all the time. But when you get the answers to them, you can be like, yep, I am overwhelmed. I am triggered. And then you can help your mind move beyond the process of that thought and just go inward and say, my body doesn't need this. My energy doesn't need this. I need to shift my energy and relax. It's not easy, but it's helpful. And so I have learned all this stuff. I learned a lot of this through yoga, realizing that it helps, realizing that it puts me into that good state of mind. I swear by Boho Beautiful Yoga. They have like 2.5 million subscribers and 400 plus videos. I will never run out of videos to do because they have all different levels. They tell you how to adapt moves to make them easier and harder. And they're a couple, so they have male and female videos. And sometimes I get to do yoga with Mr. Mahogany, and that always makes me happy. Mommy Junior can jump in. She loves to jump in and do yoga with me. So when they say how to make things easier, that's great for her because sometimes the moves are difficult, or she makes them harder and I make them easier. They are so soothing. Their voices are so soothing. And so I love it. And I learned to let things go. Leave it right here on the mat. Let go of anything you came into the practice with. It's really cool. And so then I would realize after 30 minutes, I would come out of the yoga practice in a more positive mood. And so I was like, this might be working. So it's like everything that I did kind of aligned as it was supposed to get me a step or percent better every month, maybe every week. Sometimes I have setbacks, but never going all the way back from the chiropractor to the acupuncture to yoga. I do yoga one time a week. I can't do it too much more than that. I feel the need to stretch, all the time. And I do stretch often. I don't do full yoga sessions all the time, but I will stretch the parts of my muscles or the areas that are screaming to be stretched because they're obviously trying to get my attention. And I need to. Sometimes I feel so tight, and I think I've discussed this so many times, but the tightness I feel is unlike anything I've ever felt before. That's how I know that this is like tension and tightness and functional. My nerves are thinking they need to do something that they don't, just based off of habit and feedback. But I do the stretching because I need to, but I only do it one time a week. I actually love it and I'm eager to get better with it, but I have to do what makes sense because sometimes it triggers an episode for me. So it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situations sometimes because I really don't know. I haven't been able to pinpoint it specifically enough to know what move or what I feel like when I shouldn't do it or what triggers it. I don't know yet. Some days I do yoga and I feel phenomenal afterward. The next day I'm sore for sure. It's incredible to me how I could be so sore just from like flowing and not doing any lifting or anything that I feel is like intense, not like push-ups and sit-ups and mountain climbers and squats. I was literally doing a downward dog and I don't understand how I'm sore, but I get really sore the next day. So I always do know that that's coming. But then sometimes it helps me throughout the rest of the remainder of that day. I can just be like I said, in a much more positive mood and my body will feel like it's flowing better. Other times, forget about it. I get like 10 minutes in and then my body is just jerking and tremoring and ticking all over the place. And so it's like, sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes it's definitely frustrating. And there are times when when I am my tightest and I can barely move. And I know that yoga would help because I know that I need to stretch. And so I can't do all the asanas that day. I can't do a downward dog. I can't do a chaturanga dandasana. But on those days, I'll do more standing poses or more laying poses, less poses where I have to move through that bending at the waist. That helps me because I know that bending at the waist is a big trigger for tremors for me. So I kind of eliminate that on those type of days. And that works. Luckily, there are different styles of yoga. Yin yoga is my favorite because it is that deep, deep stretch. It is that absolute deep stretch. You hold them for like you hold the poses for like 2 minutes, and it feels great. But sometimes I don't know if my body is like freaking out because yoga is kind of foreign, and my nerves and my muscles are just like, oh no, we should react because she's doing too much. We should react. Obviously, she's in trouble. I don't know. But either way, I continue to do it because I think that the benefits actually outweigh the temporary discomfort. It's not great, but even if I can actually use this as an opportunity to train my brain to say, hey, it's just yoga. Can you just relax? What's that TikTok or that reel that's like, but can we not? Can we not? Can we just not? Can we just? So that's how I feel on the times when my body starts to react negatively after yoga. I'm like, but I was trying to be really good to you. So can you just say thank you? Maybe. It's a learning experience. It may not be for everybody, but you don't know until you try. And since I've been dealing with symptoms, I realize that I have to be the one to try the things and figure out what is going to help me, what is going to make things better, what is going to make things worse, what can I learn about my body, what is my body trying to tell me? Because again, inwardly, I'm in here conducting this and my body is speaking. I just have to make sure that I'm listening. Sometimes our body is telling us exactly what it needs, exactly what it doesn't like, exactly what it loves, exactly what it yearns for, anything, and then we just ignore it. And so I am being so much better with that these days of just listening to what my body is saying. Also listen to what my mind is telling me. If my mind is saying yoga's not for you today, don't do yoga, I'm not going to do yoga. Even if it's on my schedule, which I've been better at planning out. So I do yoga on Saturdays. But if I wake up on a Saturday and I can't do it, or that's not going to be the best based on what I have to do in my schedule that day, then I won't do it. Maybe I'll do it later. So being able to inwardly connect is super important. I do believe that it is pivotal in some sort of recovery and some sort of subsiding of symptoms. It definitely is important to be able to inwardly connect with yourself. And yoga was an excellent way that I was able to find out how to do that. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. I am going to keep doing yoga, and I will probably update you guys in the future on what I have discovered about hot yoga, maybe different types of yoga. But I will definitely update with maybe a yoga part 2 in a few months. Remember that question that I asked earlier of what does yoga mean? Yoga actually means union. So joining together, flowing as one. Did you get it right? I just learned that myself. I absolutely just learned it. But duh, it means union. Duh, it means joining together, flowing as one. Everything goes back to the energy. I don't know. There's nothing more that I need to prove that. The things that I've discovered since dealing with symptoms and then trying to recover from symptoms, everything goes back to your energy, what you let in, how inwardly connected you are to yourself, and how good you can communicate to your body what you expect out of it. So that's all for now on the T on FND and yoga. Till next time, be intentional, be faithful, and be humble.